Welcome back to Safas Unscripted. Robin, it's an exciting time. The Box have done it. We haven't won it yet, but we put an ultimate beating on the Argentinians. And I go away from this game and I'm thinking the scoreline doesn't reflect the game because that could have easily been 90-30. But at the same time, I love the boys the way that we performed. And yet I got so mad at certain points of the game. It was the strangest game that you'll ever see. How are you feeling after this weekend? And how are you just doing overall?
How's it, man? Yeah, lekker. I will agree with you. Definitely a mixture of emotions during that game. Um, I think I was messaging yourself, some family members back and forth, some friends during the game, and I was like, "What am I witnessing?"
Yeah,
We'll
my
probably get into
invitation
some
must
more
have got
detail.
lost in the mail, by the way.
Yeah, maybe your message didn't go through. I see enough of you on this channel. No, I'm joking, but yeah, no, look, lots of things happen in this game. We can sort of unpack a few of it in this video. But what I will say is, I think we're starting to see a bit of that expansive game playing in our favor now. We've said it before. Tony Brown coming into the system, maybe it didn't transcend the way we wanted it to initially, but things like this takes time. We play a certain way, and now we're trying to evolve our game. And it was the story of two halves. In the first half, we were playing sort of South African style rugby that we're known for in terms of set piece, kicking, box kicks, that sort of stuff. And then in the second half, we just opened the floodgates. So it'll be interesting. Let's get into it and have a chat about what we think the team for this week will look like.
Yeah. People, if you like talking a bit of shit when it comes to rugby, please do remember to hit that like and subscribe button. We do appreciate you guys joining us in on this journey. But if you look at the game, and we spoke about this last week, I mentioned to you Tony Brown. He had a press conference and he said he wasn't necessarily fully happy with the Wellington performance against New Zealand. The first half was still 10-7 and we weren't clinical enough. We were very clinical this game. We had 10 entries into the 22, if I remember the stat correctly. Entered 10 times, scored 9. That is crazy. That is a absolute madness. And you could see it in the commentary box. Every time the camera went to the commentary box, those boys were happy upstairs. But before we get into all the positive, I want to bring up something that's a bit negative, but you have to take it with a grain of salt because there's obviously a story behind it. I'm not a fan of us conceding 30 points. Like, 30 points feels like an extreme amount of points to concede. So, obviously, if it wasn't for the clinical attack, we were kind of left for dead there.
I think when you're doing a lot of things right that you're not known to do when it comes to like expansiveness and the way Sasha was playing, we'll get into his game as well. Um, there's gonna come times where there's just lapse in judgment, and maybe players are not firing defensively as much as they are on attack. Because to play the way that we played, you see Sasha get the ball, at fullback and do a cross kick like out of nowhere. You don't normally see this sort of play. So because we were so expansive, because we were running the ball a lot, I think that did open up opportunity for Argentina to get us on a few occasions. I mean, you saw that one break they made. I think who all slipped off tackles. It was Malcolm.
Yeah, a few boys on
Um,
the
I'm pretty
Thomas
sure.
Albanose try. Yeah.
Yes. You had Quadzilla. This is one of his weaknesses, and I don't want to be negative, but he does struggle on
Mm.
defense. Obviously, with having a pair of those legs, those quads, it's probably is
Referring
hard
to
to get
Volko
off the
Low,
mark.
obviously,
And
for the people that didn't know.
so, yeah, I would assume that most rugby fans would know who I'm talking about if I say Quadzilla. But yeah, I think players try and beat him definitely on the outside because he is a little bit slower. So he missed tackle. I know Ruan Nokia missed a tackle in that, as well as Malcolm Marks. And then you had Damien Willems to try and, slap the ball out the hand over the line, which is obviously very hard to do. So that's a specific try where it's just a lapse of judgment, and guys are potentially just a bit tired in that moment from running. In the first half, stupid mistake from Cheslin Colby. I think he's the only player that can get away with doing something stupid like that
That was
and
crazy.
not get like the whole brunt. It was crazy. So yeah, it's when we got so free, I think it can be to our detriment. And this is probably what we saw in that first Australian test where we were 22 points up, and then, we just give a glimpse and of hope to the team, and then they sort of think they're still in it. But I think we did well to keep applying that pressure in the second half. So despite them scoring 30 points, we were still clinical when it came to our attack, and I think that's
Yeah,
crucial.
it makes sense when you say when you're attacking like that, you kind of have a little bit of lapse in judgment, or a lack of focus when it comes to your defensive work, which is obviously still important. Like, I don't think that will all of a sudden go into our everyday game. I was just like, would have been nice to say, okay, it was 67-10 or something like that, rather than saying, okay, we conceded
Yeah.
30 points, especially when you refer to the Springboks as kind of the defensive giants when it comes to world rugby. But obviously, the first half might have been the most crazy first half that you will ever see from Cheslin Colby. When that happened, right, I was watching the game with my dad, and when it happened live on TV, I just made the stupid joke and told him, imagine if they pick that up and score. And he was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, well, Colby just dropped the ball. Like like a kick pass. You can obviously see the logic behind it. He just passed the ball, but he gave a drop. Kicked it in field. Chokobaris is there, picks it up and scores. We concede a penalty try. Malcolm Marks goes off. Sasha, Eben, and Franco Morsert, if I'm not mistaken, reminds the ref that he blew the whistle 4 seconds, because there's like literally a stop of when, and Sasha looks up at the camera, reminds him there was still 4 seconds left. From there, we go and score 4 minutes into stoppage time of the first half. Absolutely crazy. The game, I just had absolutely no words to describe it. And then we got into the second half. Malcolm Marks wins a kick chase. Yes, Malia pulled a hammy in running back for his ball, but a hooker from all people regains a kick chase. That is crazy. This game had everything. And by the way, it took about 4 hours for this game to pass, because Mani obviously scored his nice try, and then the kickoff was 25 minutes later. Obviously, thoughts and prayers with the scrum half from, oh my goodness, his surname's just slipped my mind, from Argentina. But it was just like, surely that's the most chaotic game that we've ever seen.
Yeah, it looked like it came from like a training ground. Like it was two teams doing a trial game, trying to work out combinations and trying all their tactics. Um,
Sasha getting first
and
his
obviously
own
we
cross
just came
kick.
up.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, how does that even work? I've never seen a cross kick from a player and he gets there before the winger and obviously the opposition defenders. I mean, it just shows the pace that he
Mm.
has. Speaking of Sasha, I think let's just what do the kids say nowadays? What do they say when
Generational talent.
you praise someone? Glaze.
Glaze.
Glaze is the word.
Yeah.
Let's just glaze him a little bit. Every single thing he did in that game and every component of that game was
Yeah.
outstanding. When it came to goal kicking, I think he missed one kick if I'm not wrong, and it was against the
Yeah.
post.
Hit the post after that, knock it in,
When it came to
just to show off a bit from like right in
yeah,
front. But yeah.
yeah, when it came to his aerial game, when it came to his footwork, his tactical kicking, 3 tries.
Defensive workhorse. Don't
Um,
forget about that.
yeah, defensively sound, skills breaking lines. Like I watched the highlights of all the tries we scored, and it's like you can clearly, even if you don't even know who Sasha is, you're an American watching these highlights. and you would be like, oh, okay, cool, he was man of the match, he was the best, but you didn't even see the rest of his clips throughout the game. Like he was doing some crazy stuff. So such an all-round performance. I haven't seen an all-round performance from a fly-off like that in I don't know how long, since Dan Carter era.
Well, we have.
So
We
kudos to
saw him
him.
do it against Connacht. The exact same performance in the URC.
Yeah, even that spin attack thing that he likes to do. Okay, it wasn't from a ruck, but he did it mid play, pass to I think it was De Villiers, and then wrapped around and received it back from
Dude,
him. So
Julian
he's
Montoya sat next to
insane.
me there on the couch for a second. The way that he fell for that dummy, it was ridiculous, dude. He threw a mad one. Like I felt like he was throwing that straight at me. Dodged it over there, boom, over for the try. He was sensational, right? Obviously, when a guy performs like that, he's the obvious standout for like a man of the match performance. But if I have to think about like a couple of the other guys that stepped up, I thought Jasper Wiese was absolutely sensational. We spoke about him having needing to have a massive impact this game because we referenced Juan Martin Gonzalez, we mentioned Pablo Matera, we spoke about Oviedo, we spoke about the talent that they have. And Jasper just said, okay, well, I'll just run through everyone. And he had a monstrous performance. Malcolm Marks, I know he got a yellow card, but overall, Malcolm Marks was great. Absolutely stepped up to the plate. It felt like we saw a bit of the old Ibn Etzebeth there again. He was a monster. Ruan Orkia, doing what Ruan Orkia does. Just brilliant. And I thought Kanan Moody, you from your normal eyesight, might have had a quiet game, but the way that he pushed up in defense kind of just led the defense by example there. Like his rush defense, I don't know if it's some Jesse Creel blood that he's got in him, but he's reading defensive patterns beautifully. And then the same with obviously Ethan Hooker once again. Dude, he's just a monster. Just doesn't go down easily. Colby obviously had that one mistake, but other than that mistake, brilliant. Just everyone stepped up. Even Damian Willemse had a quiet first half, really got involved in that second half. Like it felt obviously Sasha stood out, but I just thought that as a team performance, it was absolutely brilliant, especially in that second half. Even the first half, because most of the tries are kind of just moments of slipping up. And we spoke about how clinical Argentina are. They showed how clinical they are. But let's say 86% of the game, brilliant by the boys. Very happy with the performance.
Yeah, I must echo what you said there. I thought it was a great team performance. Obviously, when a guy like Sasha does his thing to that extent, you've got the whole world talking, the whole rugby world. You sometimes forget what the rest of the players have done to put him in that position and give him the base to, you know, express himself the way he did. But before we go on to what we think the team is going to look like this weekend, I want to ask you a question because I've been seeing a couple comments on like these highlight clips of Sasha, and a lot of people were commenting. Um, he's a bit like he's got a bit of a holding. He's got a bit
Oh,
of like
the
attitude.
viral clip.
Do you? Yeah, and including if I'm correct, that guy's Porter Human. Is that his name?
Uh, I don't know.
That gave that. I'm pretty sure that's his name, but not just him. I've seen comments from fans as well. Saying that he's got a bit of an attitude. He's a bit arrogant and stuff
Mm.
like that. What is your take on that? Do you feel he's worthy to have a bit of arrogancy, a chip on his shoulder? Yeah, what's your take on that?
Mm. So obviously we don't know him personally. I don't know if he's got a Odin or anything like that. From an outside perspective, he looks like a confident guy. He does, right? I'm not saying that as a negative thing. But the one thing that I've always called for is characters in the game. If you know you're good, just continue to be good. Don't be one of those guys that are like almost too good to play rugby. You get what I mean? Like you can see he puts his body on the
Yeah.
line. He attacks the game line. He looks like he wants to be the best, and that's the way that he's playing. So characters in the game, characters in the media, grow the sport. He can be an international star. He probably is already an international star because he's not a bad looking guy, right? So he, I like it. I like it. Whether you have a holding or not, not everyone has to be humble in this world. If you're good at something, show that you're good at it. As long as the performances that doesn't drop off, then I'm happy, right? And obviously, a good thing for Sasha is the fact that his position, his number 10 position, isn't necessarily secured. Right, he might be the front runner for that 10 jersey. But you look at the way that Marnie came on. I really enjoyed watching Marnie in that 10 jersey again. Just kind of, they give you total different ways of attack. Both of them so attacking in terms of the way that they play as a 10, but it's a different way of attack. Like Sasha is a lot of individual magic. He obviously can get the backline going, where Marnie puts the other guys into space, but he has the individual threat that we literally saw with his individual try. So it's competition. As long as there's competition for him, I'm happy. Be a character, be wild. I don't care if you're humble or not. Just play proper rugby and then make all the money in the world and stay at the Stormers. That's the main thing for me.
Yeah, look, I feel the same in terms of him as a person. He just seems like he oozes confidence. And I think that's something that you need when you are a general in the team. Um, he's super young as well. People misunderstand this.
How old is he?
But
Do you
just
know?
looking back at, he is 23, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and I think like even if you look at clips from when he was in high school, I think his under 14 team when he gave a speech at the end of the season, they had an unbeaten season towards his coach. If you guys haven't checked it out, you can search it up. Just say Bishop's Sasha under 14 speech. He's always had that, and that's
Mm.
kudos to his parents for instilling that in both their boys. I know that his brother is also like on reality TV and stuff like that, so they definitely have always had this confidence and it transcends well into the position that he plays. Yeah, and I don't necessarily think that every player should have too much confidence or arrogance to them. Like if you look at a guy like Peter Steph Toy, he's the furthest thing away from an arrogant person, very soft spoken. We obviously seen clips in Chasing the Sun of him cucking out the team, saying if you don't want to play, say now or make a plan. But
Yeah.
when it comes to him, he plays a pivotal role in that position. And I think if Rassi were to say, calm down or not, don't be so confident or look a bit arrogant when you're scoring tries and stuff like that, it'll take away from what makes him naturally good. And
Yeah.
that's just being able to put on a spectacle and play his game. So I'm all for it.
Do you reckon
Obviously, there's
Sasha
a
is a
time and
guy
place.
that he kind of needs that confidence to perform? Like he thrives off
Yeah.
that like he's a confidence player, kind of the same as Marnie almost. I feel like when you knock on Marnie the whole time, I feel like the confidence drops and then the performance goes a bit under the radar. Where not under the radar, under standard. And the same could be with Sasha, where it's maybe a bit different with Pollard. But I can't see Pollard necessarily being at the level when it comes to playing with confidence like those guys are. Maybe I'm being a bit far stretched with that one, but I kind of just get the sense of that.
Yeah, sometimes it's a catch-22. You see a lot of players that need a certain bit of confidence. So something good needs to happen initially in the game, and then throughout the rest of the game, you'll see that they just keep on peaking, 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 and like elevating their game. Where other players can make a mistake, but they can just move past it. Now, I don't necessarily think Sasha's like that, but what I will say about him is like after his first try, you could just see he was on a roll. It was that snowball effect of just
Mm.
even when he pushed, who was it? When he did his spin attack move
Jan
and
Hendrik
scored the
Wessels, he
try,
pushed him off the ball.
Jan-Hendrik Wessels. It's almost like he just knew what he wanted to do prior to that, and Jan-Hendrik Wessels was getting in the way of that move that he wanted to do. I saw Tim from Egg Chaser speak about it as well. He said, and that just shows he wanted to take initiative in that moment. He knew what he wanted to do. He dummied not only that Argentinian players, three of them, but the cameraman and everyone watching the game at home. So he's one step ahead when he's in that flow state.
Yeah. Now we're moving on to Twickenham, the Alien Stadium, Allianz. Let's quickly run through a team that we could possibly see. First and foremost, do you reckon we still go 5-3 split?
Yeah. Depending on if Grant is back, we could potentially see a 6-2 because obviously he can cover the wing.
I think we stay with a
I
5-3.
Yeah,
Okay.
we could.
Okay, so let's quickly run through it. Um, I reckon I'm not sure how serious Ox's injury was. I don't think Bowen Fenter had his best performance necessarily. I thought he was fine, but compared to the others, I thought he was a bit maybe understanded. So I'm going with Oxen Chair, Malcolm Marks, Thomas Atoy. You agree?
Yeah,
I heard Luat is back. I don't reckon we'll see Luat. I reckon it's going to be Eben Etzebeth, Ruan Orke again. You got any changes there?
I have a feeling we will see Sos come into the mix. I think we're going to bring a couple of those boys in, and this is Rassi's way of saying, there's some youth coming up. There's some guys on form. Let's create a bit of a competitive environment again, and show us what
On the
you
last
can still
game,
provide for the team.
when the
Yeah,
rugby championship is on the line. Okay.
I think so.
Okay. So you reckon Sos comes in? I've got the same lock pairing. I've still got Sia, I've still got Peter Steff, still got Jasper Wiese. Um, all three of them playing this one as well. They work so well as a pairing. Can't see him really
Yeah,
changing it. Um, I reckon Kobus
I
Reinach
think
and Grant
Mornay
will be there,
and
but I don't know who's starting.
I think Mornay gets a shout. He did really well coming off the bench.
Are you thinking Mornay
Grant
and
obviously had a
and,
bit of
and
a niggle.
Grant?
Yeah, and I'm thinking Mornay starts with Polly.
With Polly? Ooh, sneaky shout. Hmm. Why? Because Pollard's been playing for long in England.
Not just that, I think if Rassi's sort of sticking to his word of giving players chances,
No, Polly's already
I
started
think
too.
Pollard, yeah, true.
Sasha started to went off injured in the one, and a guy doesn't score a record-breaking 37 points and not start the next game. That is a madness. I'm going. I like your shout of Morne van den Berg. I'll second you on that. I'll go Grant Williams to start with Sasha, just because Kobus Reinach has played a lot. Maybe just let him chill out for a bit. Give Morne another shot at it, but from the bench. So I'm going Grant and Sasha as my 9 and 10 pairing. I'll go with the same centers as we had this weekend. There's no issues there.
I think we bring Creel in.
You mentioning a lot of changes here for a game that matters a lot.
Yep.
Why?
We'll circle back to it when we do the team throughout the week. But that's what I'm feeling.
Oh, you got some insights.
Remember, these players have just played on Saturday. They've now traveled to the UK,
Yep.
to England. Why wouldn't you want to bring players that have sat out for 2 weeks fresh?
Yeah, that's
Because Argentina can't. They've got a couple injuries. They don't have depth like us.
no.
We can really apply
Wait,
some
wait,
pressure.
wait, 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 wait. Because Damien apparently he's got a um, hamstring niggle. Okay, I'm switching it up. Mani at 10. I'm going Sasha at fullback. That's what you wanted to do.
Willems at 12. Yeah.
Are you going Willems at 12?
But
Because as far as I know, he's
yeah.
they're monitoring an injury on the guy. So then if he's out, I'll go Damien Dealinde, Kanan Moody, and then Ethan Hooker, Cheslin Colby. But Colby might be injured, so maybe a Mapimpi. And then I've got Sasha at fullback. Just,
I like that.
and then Paulie can be on the bench.
Interesting. Well, we're going to find out. You seem to think we're going to find out on Thursday. I have a feeling Rassi was going through the team on the plane. I think we find out tomorrow potentially.
That's if it's on a Wednesday, it would just feel wrong. That's what I'm thinking Thursday. But I just purely said it because they're
No, it's
flying.
Monday. It's Monday.
I didn't say it. What did I say?
You said if it's on a Wednesday, it'll feel wrong.
Yes. So, because team announcements are for Tuesdays and for Thursdays. That's why it would feel wrong.
So what makes you think they can't announce it tomorrow because they traveled?
Yeah, so probably maybe just a quick little training session. And then,
Okay, fair enough.
yeah, okay. Just to get clarity, my backline is Grant Williams and Marnie Lubbock, Dialinda and Moody. Then I'm going Ethan Hooker and then either Colby or Mapimpi, depending on whether Colby's fit. And then I'm going Sasha at fullback because apparently Willemse might be out. And then I've got a 5-3 split on the bench, which is kind of the same as we had for this weekend. I don't know who's the Hooker replacement because that could be Jan Hendrik Wessels. I'm going with Jan Hendrik Wessels as the Hooker replacement. Boan Venter as the prop replacement, which is the switch from last weekend.
I like it. I just think we see Polly.
Yeah, I've got Polly on the bench.
That's my call. Okay, and I think we see Jesse as well.
Yeah.
So I think we see Franco Mostert, Polly, and Jesse. Those are my three big ones that I think will come into the team.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you're correct. Anyway, that wraps it up, people. As always, thank you for watching. We appreciate you guys. We will see you next time. Ciao.